He rehearsed the conversation for 11 years, every single night before he fell asleep. He replayed it, the exact words that were said, the exact expression on the face of the person who said them, the exact moment his life split into before and after. He could describe the color of the shirt the other person was wearing. He could tell you the temperature of the room. He could recall the precise quality of the silence that followed. 11 years. 4,015 nights. And not once, not a single time, did replaying that moment change what happened. Not once did the memory reach back through time and fix what was broken. Not once did the person in the memory apologize. Not once did the outcome shift. The event stayed exactly as it was. Permanent. Finished. Sealed. And yet, he kept going back. Night after night, year after year, he kept walking back into a room that no longer existed. To fight a battle that was already over. To feel pain that had already done its damage. And while he was back there, while his mind was living in that finished, unchangeable, sealed away moment, his actual life, his real life, the only life he actually had, was passing. Every morning he woke up, and the first thing he gave his energy to was something that could never be changed. Every day he handed the best hours of his mind to a past that had not the slightest interest in giving him anything back. And I need to ask you, because I need you to feel this, not just hear it. How many years have you given to something that is already over? The past is the only place in the entire universe where nothing can ever be changed. Think about that. You can change your future. You can change your habits. You can change your relationships. You can change your health, your career, your address, your mindset, your body, your bank account. Every single one of those things is available for transformation right now in this moment. But the past is the one place where your power is absolutely and completely zero. You cannot go back. You cannot edit it. You cannot unsay the word, or undo the choice, or relive the moment differently. What happened, happened. The door is locked from the outside, and you do not have the key, and you never will. And yet, millions of people, intelligent, capable, deserving, extraordinary people, spend the majority of their mental and emotional energy standing at that locked door, knocking, waiting, hoping that somehow, some way, the lock will turn, that the past will open, that it will finally give them the closure, the apology, the reversal, the explanation they have been waiting for. And it never does. Because it cannot. Because it is the past. And the past does not move. But here is what does move. Here is what is alive and breathing and full of possibility. Right now, in this very moment. Your future. Your future is the most unwritten, unconstrained, undefeated thing in existence. Your future does not know about your failures. It does not have access to your worst moments. It has not read the story that other people wrote about you. Your future does not care that you were rejected, that you failed, that you fell apart, that you made the wrong choice, that you lost the thing you worked hardest for. Your future is sitting there, right now, at this very second, completely blank, completely open, completely available to be shaped by whatever you choose to do next. And the tragedy, the genuine, heartbreaking, unnecessary tragedy, is that most people never show up to claim it because they are too busy living in a place they can never return to, mourning a version of their life that they can never get back, carrying the weight of a story that already ended. Let me tell you something about the human brain that will change the way you understand your own suffering. Neuroscientists have discovered that when you replay a painful memory, your brain does not know that the event is over. It experiences the memory as if it is happening right now. The same stress hormones flood your system. The same neural pathways fire. The same emotional responses activate. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a memory and a present reality, which means that every time you return to a painful past event, you are not just remembering pain. You are experiencing it fresh, again, in full. You are choosing, and I use that word deliberately and seriously. You are choosing to be hurt again by something that already hurt you. You are the one reopening the wound, not the past, not the person who wronged you, not the circumstance that failed you. You. Every time you go back. And I am not saying that to blame you. I am saying it to liberate you. Because if you are the one reopening the wound, then you are also the one who holds the power to stop. The past is not chasing you. You are chasing it, and I understand why. I want you to know that I understand completely why. Because the past feels safe in a strange, painful way. The past is known. The future is unknown. And the human mind, wired for survival, wired to minimize uncertainty, will often choose familiar pain over unfamiliar possibility. At least with the past, you know what you are dealing with. At least you know the shape of the wound. The future is terrifying because it is open, because it could go any direction, because it requires you to act without a guarantee, because it demands courage that the past never asks for. The past only asks you to remember. The future asks you to build. And building is frightening. Remembering is just suffering. But suffering, as you already know, does not build anything. There was a woman who lost her entire business at 42. Everything. A decade of work. Every investment she had made. Every risk she had taken. Every relationship she had built. Gone in a single financial crisis that she did not see coming and could not have stopped. For 2 years after that collapse, she woke up every morning, and the first thought in her mind was the exact moment she realized it was over. The exact email, the exact number on the screen, the exact sound the office made when it went quiet for the last time. For 2 years, that moment owned her mornings, owned her confidence, owned her identity. She would sit across from new opportunities and hear her own inner voice, reciting the evidence of her past failure, like a prosecuting attorney building a case against her future. And then one morning, an ordinary morning, not a dramatic morning, she was sitting with her coffee, and she asked herself a question. She said, "What would I do right now if I had never failed?" And the answer came instantly. It came with energy, with specificity, with the kind of aliveness she had not felt in 2 years. And she realized in that moment that her vision for the future had been there the entire time, untouched, undefeated, waiting behind the 2 years of backward looking to finally be acted on. She started that morning, not perfectly, not with a plan, not with capital or confidence or certainty. She started with a single forward-facing action, and 5 years later, she had built something that made her previous business look like a rehearsal. The future was always there. She just had to stop blocking it with the past. Here is what carrying the past actually costs you. And I want you to count this carefully, because most people have never added it up. Every minute you spend in resentment about something that cannot be changed is a minute you are not spending building something that can. Every hour you devote to rehearsing old wounds is an hour you are not devoting to creating new strengths. Every conversation you have in your head with someone who wronged you, every imaginary argument, every perfectly composed speech you will never deliver, every verdict you keep returning to. All of that is mental energy, real energy, the same energy you need to build your future, to learn something new, to pursue something that matters, to show up fully for the people in your life right now who need you present, not absent in the past. The past is stealing from your future every single day you let it. And the worst part, the part that makes this tragedy complete, is that the past does not even know it is stealing from you. It cannot thank you for the attention. It cannot use the energy you give it. It is a closed account. Every deposit you make into it disappears. Nothing compounds. Nothing grows. Nothing returns. You are pouring the most valuable resource you have, your time, your attention, your emotional energy, into something with a guaranteed 0% return on investment. That is not grief. That is not processing. That is not healing. That is waste. Now I want to be careful here because I know what some of you are thinking. You are thinking, but what about healing? What about processing what happened? What about grief? And I want to address that directly and honestly, because those things are real and they matter. Grief is not the same as rumination. Processing is not the same as replaying. Healing requires you to look at what happened. Yes. To feel it. Yes. To understand it. Yes. To grieve what was lost. Absolutely. Yes. But healing moves. Healing has a direction. Healing looks at the wound and then asks, now, what can I build from this? Now, how does this change how I move forward? Rumination does not move. Rumination circles. Rumination asks the same questions with no intention of finding answers that lead anywhere new. Rumination is grief that has stopped moving and started rotting. And the difference between the two is not always obvious when you are inside it. But here is a test. Ask yourself honestly, is the time I spend thinking about this past event making me better, clearer, stronger, more capable of moving forward? Or is it keeping me exactly where I was, feeling exactly what I have been feeling, arriving at exactly the same painful conclusion every time? If it is the latter, that is not healing. That is haunting. And you are both the ghost and the haunted. You have to stop haunting yourself. Let me talk to you about forgiveness for a moment. Not because someone deserves it. Not because what they did was acceptable. Not because letting go means pretending it did not happen or that it did not matter, but because forgiveness, real forgiveness, the kind that actually changes your life, is not a gift you give to someone else. It is a gift you give to your own future. When you carry unforgiveness, when you hold on to the resentment, when you keep the anger burning to make sure that person keeps paying, you are not hurting them. You have almost certainly noticed this by now. The person who wronged you is, in most cases, living their life with very little awareness of the fire they left burning in yours. They have moved on. They have slept. They have laughed. They have made new plans. And you are still in the burning building, refusing to leave, because leaving feels like letting them win. But staying is not winning. Staying is burning. And the building is yours. Your mind is the building. Your future is what the fire is consuming. Forgiveness is not unlocking their prison. Forgiveness is unlocking yours. Some of you right now are carrying something that happened so long ago that the person who wronged you may not even remember it. And yet, you remember it perfectly. You have kept it alive with your attention, with your rehearsal, with your refusal to let it settle. You have given a past event a permanent residence in your present life. You have paid rent on someone else's damage with your own daily peace. And the question I want to leave with you, not as an accusation, but as a genuine, compassionate, urgent question, is this: how much longer? How much more of the only life you have are you willing to give to something that is already finished? Because here is what is waiting for you on the other side of letting go. Not emptiness. I know that is the fear. That if you stop carrying the past, there will be nothing left. That your identity is so wrapped up in what happened that releasing it means losing yourself. But that is not what waits on the other side. What waits on the other side is space, room, oxygen, the particular kind of mental and emotional freedom that you have not felt in so long you may have forgotten it is possible. When you stop devoting your best energy to what is over, you suddenly have that energy available for what is ahead. And what is ahead, even now, even after everything, is enormous. The number of decisions still available to you, the number of directions still open, the number of relationships still possible, the number of things you could still learn, still build, still become, still experience. Your future is not a consolation prize for having survived your past. Your future is the whole point. Think about the most extraordinary people you know of. not celebrities, not famous names, but real people in your own life who seem to carry a particular quality of aliveness, a particular momentum, a particular undeniable energy that pulls you toward them. Think about what they have in common. It is almost never that their past was easy. In most cases, their past was harder than yours. What they have in common is direction. They are facing forward, not because they have no wounds, but because they made a decision, conscious or not, that the wounds belong to the past and the energy belongs to the future. They are not running from their past. Running from something is still giving it your direction. They have simply turned around. They are walking toward something. And everything, their attention, their creativity, their relationships, their daily choices, is organized around the destination ahead rather than the origin behind. That is available to you right now, today, not after you have processed everything perfectly, not after you have received the apology you deserved, not after circumstances change or time heals, or someone comes along to finally understand what you went through. Now, the turn is available to you right now. The decision to face forward is not complicated. It is not a 10-step program. It is not a prescription. It is a choice. A single, clear, available, repeatable choice. And like all important choices, it will not feel like enough. It will feel too small for the size of the past you are carrying. But the choice does not need to match the weight of the past. The choice just needs to be made. And then made again tomorrow. And again the day after. Until gradually, not dramatically, not overnight, but gradually and undeniably, the past begins to take up less of your present, and the future begins to feel less like a threat and more like an invitation. Your best days are not behind you. I know the past can make it feel that way. I know that when you have lost something significant, a relationship, a career, a version of yourself that you loved, the future can look thin and gray by comparison. But that feeling is not the truth. That feeling is grief wearing the costume of prophecy. Your best days are not behind you. Your most important work is not done. Your deepest connections are not all already made. Your greatest contribution to the world has not already been given. These are not comfortable reassurances. These are actual possibilities that exist right now in your actual future, waiting for you to stop looking backward long enough to see them. The past gave you everything it is ever going to give you. The lessons, the scars, the wisdom, the calluses, the compassion that only comes from having suffered. All of that is already yours. You do not need to keep going back to collect more of it. You have it. It is in you. It shaped you. And now, the only question that matters is what you build with what you were given, not what was taken, not what went wrong, not what should have been different. What you build, going forward, starting now. The past is past. It always will be. It cannot be changed, and it cannot be lived in, and it cannot give you back what it took. But the future is still being written. Every single day, every single hour, every single choice. And the pen, whether you have been holding it or not, whether you believe it or not, the pen has always been in your hand. Pick it up, turn the page, write something worth reading